As we speak to you now, the city has collapsed. They make a choice whether to pay workers or to pay bulk services. It's literally difficult. There are no services that are being rendered. If you go to the townships, things have become worse in the townships. So this motion really was in the best interest of our communities to ensure that we are able to salvage that which is remaining in the seat. Unfortunately, as we saw today, the ANC has got only 86 seats. So 76 awards, 8 are PR. We got 99 seats because the other smaller parties voted with us. Unfortunately, we lost. And we lost with our pride and dignity intact because what we cannot allow is to be dictated to by anybody for any reason, and is to be treated as if we're not a very serious party. The ANC is a very big organization. So all the time when we make decisions on behalf or in the best interest of our people in the region. So we think that we accept firstly the outcome, we accept the mayor, and if a moment arrives again, anytime if the balance of forces changes otherwise, we will also still put a motion because we know that our most vulnerable communities will not get services from them. So the fact that they were supported by other parties, we are not responsible for those parties, and it's not up to us. When we had not deal with them, by the way. So whatever they can say and think, the ANC has come out here with its dignity intact, and we will continue to do our work because we are councillors for the next 5 years. We'll continue raising our issues quite sharply to make sure that we expose the rot and the inability to lead a powerful institution like this, which is being run down. So that's where we are, comrades and members of the media, and we are happy with the outcome, and we accept. We will work with the mayor. We'll also continue to expose all the wrong things that she's unable to do, as you saw the riots in Tembisa and elsewhere. So that's where we are.
Okay. Did the chair follow up?
Yeah, well, we are quite happy, firstly, that we were able to mount a motion of which had substantial reasons that qualified for the removal of the mayor. And it was overwhelmingly supported based on its substantive reasons. Unfortunately, we could not dictate how others must vote in council, but we feel vindicated by the fact that the whole voting process has exposed to some extent which are those political parties are in essence for the people. When they all agreed with us that indeed the situation is dire and enabled a process of removing the mayor, it was quite rather shocking that they equally enabled a process of restoring back the mayor, who they actually agreed with us that indeed under her watch the city has collapsed. As I close, because the chair would have spoken to a number of issues, we want to assure communities in Ekurhuleni that as the caucus of the African National Congress, we remain committed in servicing them. Ours is not about the position, but the upliftment in the building of our communities. In fact, we have received an overwhelming response across the society in Ekurhuleni, which said to us, stay strong, that which you are advancing in council is correct, and we believe that it will save the situation from further downwards spiral. So we remain determined to service our communities as a party that is in opposition. Our spirit is not down. The work will continue until such time we regain the lost ground.
Thank you very much. Let's have a quick round of questions. Name, your media house, your name, and then you shoot. Let's start with you.
Thank you very much, madam.
Let's start with you, and then you'll follow yourself, myself, and then 4. And then you'll follow up number 5. Let's go.
Thank you very much. My name is Mzwandile from EFF. Last week we saw ANC councillors and those of the EFF uniting in a song, and we were told about negotiations between you guys, but we saw that later that one collapsed. Can you really tell us to say what happened between you and the EFF in terms of forming a government?
Well, nothing happened between us and the EFF.
Number 2.
Nothing happened. Dancing together, we are councillors here, we are like a family. So dancing together is just that.
You asked for a number of caucus break last week, ANC and EFF, and we saw leadership that way in talks. What was happening there?
Well, we don't know because we're not in those negotiations.
And lastly, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairperson, last week we saw the ANC provincial briefing. The secretary was here and the chair of the province. Today it's you, and they are not here. Is that a sign? Are you guys, the REC and the province, in good relations or in good, in some way, right?
The chair and the secretary were here. I'm not sure how you missed them. It means you're not vigilant as a
Well,
as a
but they were
journalist.
addressing us, and today you were not there when they were addressing us, and today you are here.
They were not there when they addressed you last time. I was not there. He was not there. So
Let's
what are you
leave
talking
that.
about?
Let's leave that.
Stop rumors. Ask questions that are of substance so that you can answer it.
Let's go. Secondly,
Analyst from EKFM. What was your initial plan in terms of putting this motion of no confidence, not having a 50.1% threshold?
Our plan was to take over government, having exposed its weaknesses, and I think that we did everything possible. Firstly, to put the motion that could not even be taken to court. It was accepted by council. And we negotiated, obviously. You can't just negotiate. We negotiated with about 7 parties that were with us. They were still firm. They voted with us today. We negotiated with other parties which we would have thought would actually assist us to take over. But we could not find each other. So we respected their views, and then that's it. So you can't say we didn't have a plan. There was a plan to take over government. When you run as the ANC.
Were you then hoping for EFF to vote?
No, we negotiated not just with EFF. 7 parties and many other smaller parties, including the EFF. So don't make this the ANC EFF issue. No, it's not about that. It was about getting 50+1. So we're talking to all the parties where it was possible that they can support us. So don't put words on our mouth about specific
number
parties.
3.
Between you, just the last one. Between you and the EFF, it means that the negotiations were unsuccessful. The fact that the EFF voted against
The negotiations were successful with 7 other parties. So you can't count one party and then you want them to say negotiations failed. No, they succeeded with 7 other parties. You know, our seats are 86. We got 99. Where did it come from? It didn't come from heaven. It came from political parties in council.
Let's go. The third person.
Thank you. It's Govin Whittles from Newsroom Africa. Now that you've been in negotiations with the EFF, and now that this is the outcome, what is your reflection on the EFF as a party in council and a potential party that the ANC could work with in the future? Do you think that this is a party that you could go back to negotiate, try again, or do you think that what happened here in the lead up to this and the outcome has meant that you don't see yourself working together again?
EFF is our political opponent, it's not our enemy. So that's why we whine and dine with them. So that's about it. So what happened in government? So we can't do dealings as the ANC. We can only have principal agreements. So if we can't reach an agreement, that's about it. So we didn't reach an agreement. We are not bitter. We're not members of the EFF. They are not members of the ANC. So we're coming out here very strong as the ANC, and we are ready to continue our work in the opposition benches.
Is there any sense of betrayal?
No. How can you be betrayed? These are the only 4 comrades who can betray me that I serve with. So what do you we can't be betrayed by people that we don't.
I think there's also one thing we must clarify to media. Relatively, the ANC in council, despite the fact that we don't have the absolute majority, we remain the biggest organization in terms of representation. And we will never subject the African National Congress into any political administration by any political party. We enter into agreement based on principles. We don't change our principles depending on what we stand to benefit. We are firmly of the view that we must converge on the basis of the people, nothing else.
Will you be back again with another motion?
Definitely.
That's the last bite.
Much more stronger.
Yes, coming.
Nomen Mzwandile from City Press. Looking at this whole thing, where you are back now with the DA-led coalition government leading the city, would you say the motion was a waste because 3 weeks down the line, it's still the DA that is back in power?
Council, these chambers are a political theatre. Anything and anything, there is no lost opportunity. Look at you, we are all here to listen to us. Imagine if there was no motion. You wouldn't get it. So the brand ANC is coming out here very strong, and they were very clear about our issues and our intentions. So please stop this notion of wanting to link the ANC and EFF. We are opponents. We are not enemies. Where on things where we agree, we agree. On things where we don't agree, when they don't suit our fundamentals, we don't agree. It's as simple as that. So we'll continue there, because our work is to push politics. So when we're in council, that's exactly what we do there.
Yeah, maybe in addition to that, motions must not be misunderstood. Motions are a tool of exercising effective opposition in council. So it was through the motion of the ANC that, in fact, many community members became alive to the actual state of the city. Waste is not being collected, potholes, electricity outages. So there's a general lack of service delivery, and it was out of our motions. So we will continue to use motions, petitions, questions as part of the tools to exercise effective opposition. So a motion will never be useless because you aim to expose the current state of the city. Of course, secondarily, we anticipated that it will also assist us to elect a person who is fit for purpose, and we remain convinced that Tania is not a person who is fit for purpose. In fact, you will see for yourself in the next 6 months that the situation will spiral down. The risk that we may not be in a position to fulfill our financial obligations to many of our service providers.
Understand?
Diram Kingane from Mr. Masina, you said that we made a number of proposals to the political parties that the institutions were, and you said that they were shut down. Could you just take us through the proposals that you presented and why they were shut down? Did the political parties give you any reason as to why they were shutting them down? Thank you.
Look, in the negotiation, it was not just about our proposals. It was a set of proposals that came from everybody. But the few that I can highlight, which were almost uniting us, firstly was that the ANC, with its experience, capacity, its presence in the wards, should take the lead in terms of the executive authority and then work with others. The second option was that we co-govern with other parties so that as you remember, last time when we had a coalition, it was only the ANC in the executive, it was only the ANC in the legislature. We were prepared this time around to say, look, having lost 10% of the electorate, it would be unfair to want to govern on our own. But given the status of the city now, they are not sure whether to pay Eskom today or to pay rent water, whether to pay workers. Things have collapsed. Service is no longer being rendered. Where I stay, as I said, this is day 14 or 15. They have not collected waste. So things are going to be worse. In January next year, they will not be able to pay salaries. They will struggle to pay salaries. They will have to pay Peter to pay Paul. So that's a stage. So it was a set of many proposals, but some of the parties, they were hell-bent that no, we just want the mayoral change, and it was not about that. That's why even in the ANC, we could accept that even though I would have been a mayoral candidate, it's time. In the ANC we evolve. It's time we give to the younger leadership of the ANC as we push through our renewal program to take over the helm of the institution. Because it's never about individuals. But what we saw was a very extreme level of arrogance in negotiation, which we had to salvage the pride of the African National Congress.